Now, coming to another question, how can sustainable building design be integrated with other sustainable practices like your green transportation and EV, like we were talking about just now, or sustainable waste management? So, it's not just the building and the building alone, but again, these are also linked to other processes. And what are these, other sustainable practices that we can link up with and improve the building's performance, improve the building's way of functioning?
Uh, okay, so like I said, when you refer to these guidelines, there are these stages of building life cycle across which you can introduce these sustainability concepts. So the rating systems, the guidelines will provide you a very good outline roadmap of how to go about it. But specifically related to you said green transportation and waste management. So with regards to green transportation, again, the it's more about the lifestyle choices. When you talk about individuals, it's more about company corporate policy when it comes to mobility of their employees and staff members. Uh, uh, Government is taking their level of initiatives to promote the use of low emission vehicles or road transport, such a road transport uh, vehicles which basically are fuel efficient. There are CAFE norms implemented in India, and the corporate average fuel economy norms, which basically mandate the manufacturers to have a high percentage of vehicles with a high level of fuel efficiency. So various schemes and incentives are already there in front of these transport related vehicle suppliers and automobile manufacturers, like the
Hmm.
FAME scheme and so on. So again, the green mobility and the green transportation concepts need to be part of your uh, building or your business as well. You need to select a site appropriately that has access to let's say good roads and to public transport facilities. So the site selection again should depend on the availability of uh, cleaner modes of transportation. Related to waste management, again, the waste management movement started through this Environment Protection Act, and people realizing that it's important to save the environment and why it is important to manage waste. There is this 3R principle which now has transitioned to a 5R principle, which is about reduce, reuse, recycle.
Yes,
um,
the five R's, yeah.
so it's very important to define these set of policies at uh, the corporate level or at the level. Um so most of the food waste again could be sent to us. Uh, the e-waste could be sent to e-waste handlers. There are defined set of rules and regulations on this, and the sustainable buildings need to set uh, higher targets for achieving these waste management objectives and
Techniques.
targets.
Right, right.
So, specifically for waste management, there are municipal waste management rules, there's solid waste management rules, there are hazardous waste management rules, e-waste management rules. So every sort of policy with regard to waste management is there. It's more about people realizing the importance of waste management at level.
Local level.
So it's very
Yeah.
collect, segregate, and then segregate based on which all wastes could be sent for recycling, which ones are e-waste, and so we need to call up the e-waste handlers at building
Absolutely. I just want
RW.
to share,
Yes, sorry.
in Pune, they've actually done a very good job of enforcing this, and people have actually played a big role in supporting this. So they've actually now, everybody every day, even if it's somebody coming out of a small home with just a small bag, plastic bag of waste, they'll have two of them, and there'll be one which is wet, one which is dry. and it's collected only if you give 2. So otherwise they don't collect it from you. So there's been, a very clear movement from the people as well, and it's absolutely possible to do it if people and the government kind of work together to do it. So yeah, definitely. um, any other thoughts on this, on what we can tie up to the building which can add sustainable practices and improve the
Um,
level of sustainability?
right. So now we have discussed many of these concepts, and what I've noticed is that it's the implementation where we are lacking on various fronts. So you would realize that because of this corporate ESG movement uh, globally, uh, what is happening is that different businesses, or in fact, all of the businesses are becoming more conscious about all of these aspects of sustainability, green buildings, energy efficiency, so on. And when the investor sentiment is such that the businesses where they will invest would only be investable if they are following these all these aspects and principles. Now that meant can really increase the uptake of all of the sustainability measures and energy efficiency measures. So I think that is one area which you need to, and we all need to evaluate and assess and look at its bright future in the coming few years. So already in India there is BRSR reporting for 1,000 corporates, and that number is going to increase year on year as the mandates become more stricter and wider. So it'll become very much mandatory for businesses uh, to not share information on their sustainability initiatives in terms of how they are utilizing their funds, how are they generating business, how's their revenue model, how's their business model, are the buildings where their employees sit, are they sustainable? So various aspects of sustainability would get addressed and covered as part of these ESG norms and
ESG measures,
ESG
yes,
reporting
yes.
principles.
I would say ESG has actually been gone through a kind of a movement, first abroad, and now it's come to India as well. And I think with the reporting, it's something that is, the same companies, whether they're working there or here, they will need to report, and so therefore there is some amount of that has also come here. And then there's investors. So a lot of the companies here which are running on international investors, cash flow is also going to then be monitored and have a little push for them to already be ESG compliant, or like scoring really high on those ratings well in advance, even before India's other companies get there. So while that's generally been the climate of everyone wants to get more and more kind of in line with ESG, it's also important to understand that are they really doing it? So the mechanism, the implementation, like you said, is such an important part in making sure that we really are meeting the numbers we show. Yeah. So while ESG is an important framework, a new set of factors that need to be disclosed by companies, we also need to have some way of going and checking back and verifying those numbers. So yes, absolutely. I think there's a lot of movement in that space, and ESG can be a big driver for sustainability in buildings and the linked services.